I'm James Honeycutt, President and co-founder of New Tesla. In this video, we'll be talking about receiving and using your metronome for the first time. Your metronome is shipped to you in a USPS flat rate mailing box like this. Once you've opened the flap, you can then open the top of the box to reveal its contents. Within the box, you will find the first thing is the quick start guide. We'll set that aside for a moment. The metronome itself will come delivered in a silverized mylar anti-static bag. You can just open that up. There's a label to indicate the serial number and the version of the firmware on your metronome. Inside will be the metronome. We'll talk about its features in a moment. Also included will be the USB-A to Mini-B connector for programming and updating your metronome, and the USB to Mini-B wall adapter for powering for recharging your metronome. Metronome is charged before we mail it to you. So when it arrives, it should still have some residual charge, depending on how long it took for it to get to you, so that when you get it, you can just push the start button on the back. Let's talk about these features on the back real quickly. The top of the metronome back is a label that indicates the 8 different preset programs that are included on your metronome, with 2 white dome switches. This one on this side here on my left is the select switch that's used generally for selecting which preset program you'd like to operate, and is also used for placing the metronome in standby. The one on my right is the start dome switch, and it's used to wake up the metronome and start it, and also for accessing some other features we'll talk about as well. The center of the metronome includes a piece of sacred geometry that helps to refine and improve the signals that come from the biopulse emitters emitted out of the bottom and the top of your metronome. On the front of the metronome it says Rhythmedics Metronome, and then there's a small spot down here where the spectrum LED is located that flashes the color to indicate what the status is of your metronome. Each of the 8 presets have a different color that they flash while they're operating, and different purposes. There are different purposes for the spectrum LED as well. One is to indicate the battery level, and another is used for the wellness number, an electromagnetic radiation detector. So we'll talk about those features in separate videos as well. When you receive your metronome, we always recommend the first thing you do is charge it. To charge your metronome, you simply need to connect it to a powered USB source. And in this case, we're using the USB programming cable, and you can also use the wall adapter. You plug the cable into the bottom of the metronome, and when you do so, the spectrum LED will light green for about 1 second and then turn off. That's the status that indicates that it's recharging. That spectrum LED will flash that green now every 2.5 minutes while it's recharging, while it's in standby. If metronome is active, if it's operating, generating its biopulses, the spectrum LED will flash the green once every 10 seconds so that you'll know that it's charging while it's operating. We recommend charging metronome while it's in its standby mode. Once metronome is fully charged, that charging light that flashes once every 2.5 minutes or once every 10 seconds while it's running will change from 1 single flash to 3 flashes in succession. So you can tell when the metronome is fully charged. It's not essential that you always keep it charged to the fullest level, or that you wait until it's fully charged. Generally 4 to 8 hours of recharge time is required when it's initially charged, and then it will then require recharging based upon the amount of usage that you've had with it. Once metronome has been charged, and again, when you first receive it, we suggest plugging it in and charging it for at least a few hours. You can press on the back the start switch, which is on this side. Again, it's on my left because we flipped the metronome around. It's on the right over here. On the left, we put it this way. When I press the start switch, the spectrum LED will light, go through the colors from red to white, and then it will flash to indicate what preset program is currently programmed. The spectrum LED will flash once every 30 seconds to indicate which program is active. Right now we're using the default attention program that comes with the metronome. By pressing the select switch on the back and briefly letting it go, we can select different preset programs. And we'll talk about that in a separate video, selecting and changing preset programs. That's all there is that's required to using your metronome. Making sure it's charged. Once it's turned on and operating, it will continue to operate. When you remove the charging cable from the metronome, it does a manual reset so that your metronome will be restarted and it will remember the last running program. But the spectrum LED will go through a series of flashes, and then it will flash the single red, as you just saw, to indicate that it is running the red preset program. Once it's started running, as it is right now, it will run that preset program for a series of 6 to 8 times, depending upon the length of the preset. If it's a 90-minute preset, it will run this program 6 iterations for 9 hours of operation. If it's a 60-minute preset, it will run it 8 times for 8 hours of operation. And at the end, it will then shut down and go into standby mode to conserve the battery. So if you're using metronome to carry with you, you just need to know that after 8 hours or 9 hours, and you can look in the quick start guide or user manual for those details, the metronome will turn itself off and you'll have to restart it. The rechargeable battery should operate metronome for at least 48 hours or as many as 6 8-hour sessions when it's fully charged. So that means if you're using metronome, for instance, for sleep, you can put it into the sleep preset program and slide it under your pillow when you go to bed at night. It will run for the 8 hours of sleep cycles, then automatically shut off. And then the next night you just need to start it again on that sleep program. It'll remember that from the previous night, and it'll do that, and you should be able to use it for 6 nights in a row without having to recharge it. When metronome is running and you want to know what the battery level is, to see how much charge you have left, all that's required is you push the start button and release it 1 time, and it will flash 2 times. And in this case, it was flashing red and then white, indicating that it's fully charged. Red indicates that it was running preset number 1, white indicating that the battery is fully charged. As it operates, the color of the battery charge level will change from white to purple to blue and on down until it gets to the point where it's too low to operate any further. Thank you for watching our video segment. If you have any questions about using your product, just send us an email, info@newtesla, info@nutesla.com. And we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible with an answer. Also check our site, newtesla, nutesla.com. Have a great day.